Good morning. Just pulling up the live stream so I can see if you have any questions. Just getting set up. Give me a second. I'm going to be working on 2 wreaths today. Looks like the view should be good. Let's see. Okay, good. I have sounds. So I'm going to be making 2 wreaths today. Both are orders from my Etsy shop. One is going to be a blue and white graduation wreath, class of 2024 personalized graduation wreath. And the other one is going to be a soccer wreath. So both I have to make signs for, which I will do off live. And I'm going to start by doing the graduation wreath first. I'm going to be using a 14-inch work frame. I have my pipe cleaners, white chenille stems, also they're called, my pair of sharp Fisker scissors. Actually, these aren't the Fisker ones. But I do like this brand's IBM. I think I bought these off of Amazon. I think it was a 3-pack. A pair of wire cutters, and my homemade ribbon tail boards in 12-inch and 13-inch. And I'll be using a 2.5-inch wired blue ribbon and a 1.5-inch white wired ribbon. So first what I have to do is get my wreath frame ready. I prefer to buy them without any ties already on them. You can find them in the local craft stores with ties on them, but often they have an uneven number of ties, which when you go to put your ribbons on, you'll have a set of ribbons. Actually, it wouldn't really make that much of a difference because I'm only using 2 ribbons. Normally I use 4. So when you have an uneven number of ties, then you'll have a set of ribbons next to each other, the same set. So I prefer this size ribbon, this size wreath form, which makes about a 24-inch finished product for the door, which is a nice size for the average size door. And I do have videos where I go very slowly on how to apply these pipe cleaners. Basically, I use the 2 inner and I tie it on, and then I use the 2 outer. For this one, it's going to be a poofy wreath. It's not going to be one of those flat storm door wreaths. So for this one, I put 2 per section on the outside and 1 per section on the inside. You can go back in my playlist, and it's probably a couple of months ago now, but I show you step by step and I go slowly how to tie them on. You can also find them if you buy from a quality craft store. Happy birthday to Amaya, if I said that right. Good morning, Anna. I hope you have a wonderful day. But you can go back and watch that video on how to do this very slowly. It is a gorgeous morning. We finally have gotten some sunshine for the last couple of days. We've had so much rain here in New York for weeks now. It's been weeks and weeks. So it's a nice sunny day. We're going to have the eclipse, a good viewing of the eclipse. I'm on Long Island, so it's not the best. It's not upstate is where you're going to have the best viewing. But it should be pretty cool to see. I think they say about 90% will be covered. So that'll be this afternoon. Okay, so I have 12 ties on the outside, 6 on the inside. And I'm going to put this aside for a minute. And I'm going to cut my ribbon. And I'm going to grab my 12-inch. This is just a very thin piece of board. They sell these on Etsy, ribbon tail boards, they call them. I just took a piece that I think I got this from Joann's a long time ago, had my husband cut it down to size. And you can see that it's very easy. Hold on, I just have to count 6, 7, 8. Very easy to measure out precisely your ribbons. So I need 12 of each color. So you just slide it off and then you can separate them. But there are some shops that do sell them on Etsy. So if you just type in ribbon tail boards, you can purchase your own. And then I just put my straight pin back so that everything stays nice and neat. I'm actually going to get rid of this. This is very bulky to store. Oh my goodness, that is really on there. Because there's not so much left in here, I want to get rid of this extra cardboard. Wow, it's going to fight me this morning. Can you believe this? And then what I like to do, because when I need to reorder them, sometimes I want to order the exact same thing. So I'm going to take this because it's got the item number and I'm just going to store it right in there. This way I can, much easier to store this little thing than all of this extra. Okay, so that was the white. And now for my blue, I like to use, for my 2.5 inch, I like to use my 13-inch ribbon tail board. So 1, 2, 10, 11, and 12. Slide it off. If you have any questions, let me know. If you're new to wreath making, I'm happy to answer any questions. This is how I learned, watching videos. It's been about 6.5 years that I've been making wreaths. It started out as making a little gift for my son's teachers and then posting it on Facebook. I ended up getting a bunch of friends and family that were interested in purchasing. And it turned into a nice home business. So I've been home raising my kids. Okay, now I am getting my rotary cutter, nice sharp blade. And I'm going to take, this is deco mesh, they call this, comes in all different colors. And I'm going to be cutting 20-inch strips. 20 inches will give you, just make sure that lately these local stores are selling these rolls in 18 feet rather than 10 yards. So that makes you have to purchase 2 of them. If you order online, quality ribbon, quality deco mesh, they're still coming in 10 yards and you need 10 yards to complete one wreath. So if you cut it at 20 inches, if you do the math, you'll use up a whole roll and won't have any little pieces to store or throw out. Joann's and Michael's seem to have gone over to the 18 feet, which is frustrating because the prices have gone up and now we have to buy 2 rolls to complete a wreath. So just something to be aware of when you're doing your shopping, because the worst is when you're in the middle of making a wreath and then you can't finish a wreath because you ran out of mesh or ribbon or whatever it is. So I'm just using this little block because it starts to, as you get to the center of the roll, it starts rolling back on you. So I just use this little block to keep it from rolling on me. So what's everybody doing on this beautiful Monday? Is it nice by you? Is it raining by you? Is it snowing by you? What's it doing by you? And you can see the difference of the two, even though they're 20 inches, this is the start of the roll, and this is the inside of the roll, like the inner part. So I like to keep these on the side, and I'm going to use these on the outside and these on the inside. They're all 20 inches, but I find that it just makes a difference. And last one. And see, there's pretty much nothing left. So that'll get recycled. Make sure that you retract your blade so that you don't cut yourself. Safety first. That's the nurse in me. I do have 2 dogs. FedEx is here, so it will stop. I apologize. I'm sorry. It was muted for you. 2 labs. All right, slowing down. Sorry about that. All right, he's gone. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm using the Cruffle technique, woodland ruffle. I'm not sure exactly what they call it, but basically you're going to take your cut side down. I like it how it's curving down. I'm going to start in the middle of my deco mesh, which happens to have this white line, and I'm just going to do teeny tiny gathering all the way down. This is nice because it has that line to follow. You go from one side to another until you have this little bow tie, butterfly, whatever you want to call it. And then I do the outside first. So I'm just adding it right into the pipe cleaner. And I'm folding over my edges. So it's going to look like that. Looks very sheer right now, but that's, and especially with the sun coming in, the light coming in from behind it. But once I get all of this on and all of the ribbon on, you're not going to see through it. So I prefer to do all of my outside first. It does not matter. This is kind of just how I was taught. I just find it's easier that way. Adding it to the pipe cleaner, twisting it 2 or 3 times, and making sure that the edges are overlapped. Now this is a custom wreath. My customers can choose what color, school colors they need it for. This is a graduation wreath, class of 2024 graduation wreath. And then I also make the sign, and it's going to be personalized with the student's name. My Etsy shop is Crafty Therapy by L.etsy.com. So right now I am having lots of orders for graduation, finishing up some police orders. We lost a police officer last week, so the community has been rallying and buying lots of bows and wreaths for their doors, and that's starting to slow down a little bit. And then what else have I been making a lot? Oh, Passover wreaths and Passover signs. And then we'll start Mother's Day. My son does a lot of carpentry. He's a carpentry student in high school. He's a graduating senior this year. But he's built up his own workshop outside, and he makes custom plant hangers that go over the PVC fence. Because when I used to have the wood fence, I was able to hang my beautiful hanging pots and planters. But once we went to the PVC, I couldn't really find anything that worked for my fence. So he built me one, and he's been selling those on Etsy. And now that spring is here and Mother's Day is coming, those orders will be flooding in also. So you can check that out and support a senior student. He's very good at what he does. He absolutely can make a career out of it, but if he wants to. I also have some wood signs, personalized signs. There's also some beautiful high quality cutting boards that he's made and has listed. Cookbook stands, personalized, all great gifts for mom and grandmas for Mother's Day, birthdays. So he builds and I paint, and then we just sell them in my Etsy shop for now. I have another son who is an engineering student, and he designs a poop bag holder. So you know when you go on the walk with your dogs and you're not anywhere close to home, and now you got to carry the poop bag because we're responsible human beings and we clean up after our dogs. No one wants to carry that. So he came up with these poop bag holders, so it attaches to the leash, and then you take your poop bag, you tie it up, and you put it right there, and it just hangs from the leash. So he sells those in my Etsy shop. Great for all the dog owners, dog walkers. Basically just trying to teach the kids that it's nice to have a little side hustle from home. Yes, you still need to go to work every day and have, a main job, but it's expensive out there. I feel for these young people that are just kind of starting out and trying to find a house and build a life. It's almost not doable. So a little side hustle is always nice. Okay, so I've moved it into the middle, and I'm just putting it right on top, doing the same thing. I don't know if anybody is saying anything or commenting because I haven't seen any comments come up other than the first two, so sometimes there's a delay, but if there's any questions, I will go back and answer them at the end of the video. Still making sure that my edges are overlapped. Make sure you're using quality material. You know, if you're using low quality material, Michael's does not have good mesh. It frays very easily. Same thing with Dollar Tree. Your final product is going to look like it's from Dollar Tree. I wouldn't even, you know, people suggested, okay, start out with it, try it, you know, practice with it. I wouldn't even suggest that because you get discouraged using low quality materials. I do like Hobby Lobby's mesh for the most part. Joann's has nice mesh when it's their holiday ribbon. I don't know why it changes from their everyday ribbon to their holiday ribbon, but I just find that it's pretty decent quality. If it's like their spring collection or their Christmas collection. Okay, so this is the last one. And we have a nice full wreath. This is probably about, it's probably almost 6 inches already. So now we're going to get our ribbons ready. I like to take 3 at a time. I line them up, I fold them over, and I cut it at an angle. That's called dovetailing it, just to give that nice finished look. You don't have to do this. But I just think it makes the wreath look nice. I don't like to take more than 3 at a time because I find that they start moving and then you don't get that nice sharp cut. And when I take more than 3, I find that I'm going back anyway and I'm having to fix it in the end. Some people just cut it at an angle. I put in my order. I'm very low on my boxes. So I found a local place. I used to get them on Amazon, and boy, did those prices go up. A lot of people also order from Uline. It's not anywhere near me, so the shipping rate to me is just insane. So I was able to find a local small business to order from. So it's not that far from me, about 10 minutes. So I just go and pick it up. They're great. I can kind of order it in the morning and then give them a couple of hours, and then it'll be waiting for me to pick up. I have a lot of graduation bin card holders. I personalize those. A lot of those going out, so I ran out of the boxes for those. And I was getting low on my wreath boxes. So I put in an order, make one trip. All right, just cleaning this up. One thing I like to do is I like to take my my scissors, especially the Fiskars, and then I'll just run it along the edge where I was just working because they're magnetic. And can you see hanging off the top? Those are sharp tiny pieces of metal that I don't want to be stepping on. So I just like to clean it up so it doesn't get pushed onto the carpet that I'm working on. All right, let's add the ribbon. So there's 12 pipe cleaners on the outside. I do every other one. I find that if I put 12 sets of ribbon on the outside, it's just too much. It's overwhelming and not necessary. So I line up my ribbons. I pinch the middle so that I know my tails are even. And I'm going to add it to an outside pipe cleaner, doesn't matter where you start, and twist it in there 2 or 3 times. And I'm going to spread them out just like that. Some people keep them stacked on top of each other. I like to spread them a little bit, especially if you have beautiful pattern ribbon. I want to be able to see that. Dog going by, I apologize. All day long with these two. I can't be the only one. Someone's got to have a dog on here. All right, they're gone. Go lay down. So normally I do 2 sets of ribbons, and actually both wreaths today are going to be exactly the same, made the same way. I normally do 2 different sets of ribbons, 4 ribbons total. So then I would alternate it. So this would be pattern A, this one would be pattern B, and I keep that all the way around on top and bottom. But this is even easier. We're just working with school colors, so it's easy to keep the blue and the white simple. Could do that with sports teams also. I make a lot of my own signs. I don't really sell my wreath signs. I do sell other signs like tabletop ones. But I do like to make a lot of my own signs when I can with my Cricut machine. That way I can, I never run out of the supplies. If I need it, I make it. Not that I have to, oops, I ran out of the sign. I have to order it. I have to wait for a vendor, and sometimes they're not so quick on shipping. And then that delays my shipping to the customer. I try to get my orders out usually the same day, depending on what time the order comes in. If not, the next day. I know when I place an order for something, I want it as soon as possible, so. So just spreading it out as we go. Hope you're finding this helpful. If you are, you can take a look back at my other videos. I have lots of bow making videos. I usually like to use the Easy Bow Maker. I sell a lot of bows in my shop. So you can subscribe, and if you hit the bell notification button, you'll get notified when I go live. I try to go live about once a week. I'm not too consistent. It really depends on when there's no one home. So I'm not interrupted. I work on my dining room table. That's my craft room, so I'm really in the middle of the house. So I try not to inconvenience the kids when they're trying to go into the kitchen, or my husband or whatever. Okay, so I'm finishing this up. I've got one left. This is all wired ribbon. I don't bother with anything unwired. I bought a lot in the beginning because I didn't know any better, and I still have that, pretty much most of it 6 years later. It doesn't hold well. It doesn't hold up in wreaths. You see how they're all kind of standing at attention? So this one is going to have a black sign, and it's going to say class of 2024 and the student's name on the bottom. And then I forgot to bring it up, but I do put a couple of loops of deco tubing. I forgot to bring that up. That's downstairs in the storage. So I'm just going to put that aside. And now I'm going to be, so that one was a big fluffy wreath, like I was saying. It won't fit in between storm doors. You can put it on the outside of a storm door, as long as you have a covered porch area or covering, they do fine. So this one is going to be one of those flat pancake thin wreaths, low profile, so that this is going to go in between the storm door. And this is going to be the soccer wreath. So this one I've already done. Again, you can watch videos on how I put the pipe cleaners on. You go back in my playlist. So same thing, I'm going to find the middle. And I'm just going to do teeny tiny gathering all the way from one to another. You want to do small little gathers. Don't be grabbing at it. It won't come out even. The sides won't come out even. I'm going to spread my pipe cleaner. And I'm going to add it. And then twist 2 or 3 times. I'm going to fold over my edges. And it's all poofing up, right? Can you see how it's kind of curving up? So I want to kind of curve that down as best I can, and that's what's going to make it flatter. Okay. Yesterday my mom was over, and she loves to cut my deco mesh for me. So I gave her all the rolls that needed to be cut so that I can just get going, except for that blue one that I just did on camera, because that came in this morning, that order. So it's nice when she comes over on the weekends and she helps me get ready for the week ahead and orders. So I'm just making sure that it's as flat as possible. My edges are overlapping. And I'm just going all the way around on the outside first, and then I'll go to the inside. Now at this point, you can also take your ribbons and add them in as you put one piece of deco mesh, you put in your set of ribbons before you move to the next one. I've tried that. I just find that I feel like I'm a little bit quicker if I just do all the mesh first, all the ribbon first. Here in New York, we have mostly storm doors because of our weather. So the low profile wreaths sell better locally. Online, I ship a lot down south, and I guess there's not so many storm doors because they like them big and poofy. So I offer both. And for the most part, if someone likes a certain set of ribbons and a sign, I can also make it one way or the other for them. So let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you're a wreath maker, if you're just learning. It's very quiet in here today. We've had people watching, but you've got your cup of coffee. Sometimes I like to do that too. I just get my cup of coffee and I put on a video, whether it's for crafting or gardening or cooking. Sometimes I'll put on a cleaning video to motivate me. It works though, I gotta say. All right, so now we're coming into the middle. And I'm going right on top of that outside layer. And I'll just sit with my cup of coffee and watch a video or two before I start my day. This was also cut at 20 inches. For the most part, when I use this 14-inch frame, I almost always cut in 20 inches. If I'm using a pre-made, I might cut them in 22 inches, depending on the amount of ties. I'll just take the measurements of a roll and then divide it out by how many ties are on the frame. If I have an uneven number of ties, oftentimes I will just do my same every other pattern, pattern A, pattern B, rotating around, and then when it comes to the one spot that would need to have, whoops, look at that. I didn't tie it tight enough. I will put a bow there to kind of camouflage that. And honestly, most people won't even pick up on that, but my eye goes right towards that, where you have two patterns next to each other. So going right down the middle. This tan deco mesh is a great one. It's very neutral, so it can really, goes great with, this one happens to be a soccer one. They're great for farmhouse. It's just a neutral base that you can pretty much put any color ribbon and sign on top of it and it'll go together. So I always keep this in stock. So just nice and tight 2 or 3 times, twist the twist tie. Last one. The only thing about this one, the fibers fly all over it. I feel like I have to blow my nose and get it all out of my nose after I'm done working with this or burlap. When I'm doing a lot of burlap wreaths, I actually just put on a mask because I feel it in my lungs later that day. Can't be good for you. Okay, so you can see this one is the same, about 24 inches, but it's much thinner than the other one. So now we're going to take my ribbons that I've already cut. I've got my 1.5 inch, and the soccer one is 2.5 inch wired ribbons. And these I actually cut at 12 inches each. So I pinch the middle, line them up, pinch the middle so that I know my tails are going to be the same size. And I like to go to the outside first, just twisting it 2 or 3 times, and then I spread them out. Over the weekend, I had an order for a green and white soccer wreath. I designed 2 new signs this weekend. One says, "Welcome to our home," and the O of the welcome has a soccer ball. And the other one, it says, "Eat, sleep, soccer, repeat," I believe it was. So the customer's school team, I don't know if it was a school team or a private, travel team, was green and white. So I happen to have green and white soccer ribbon. That came out really cute. And then I listed it in my Etsy shop. Both options of those are there. Can also do it in any other, the soccer ribbon would basically be about the same. They only come in, I've seen it in this one, the black and white, green, as well as tan. I don't know if you can see on camera, but do you see how there's a little crease here? What I'll do is I have a hair straightener. So I will heat up my hair straightener to about, this one has temperature. I don't even use this. This was borrowed from a friend. To about 325. I'll heat it up and I'll just go like that once or twice, and that'll take that wrinkle right out. It's not on right now, so I have to heat it up. I'll do that after. I have that, and I also keep next to me my hair dryer, which I haven't used on my hair in probably 25 years because I don't dry my hair. I let it just naturally dry. I was one of those girls that had like the huge hair, the poofy, the hair sprayed out hair. Not anymore. It goes in a bun or a clip, and that's it these days. So I have my hair dryer and my flattener, straightener next to me at my craft table. The hair dryer I use to remove tags like this. You heat it up a little bit and it peels right off. No struggling. Another tip from Crafty Therapy by Elle's Craft Room. So just pinching that middle. So I've gotten them all on the outside. Now I'm going to the inside, twisting it 2 or 3 times, spreading it out. This white one particularly, I bought this from Amazon. It's a really nice thick ribbon. Soccer ribbon is actually very hard to find. Wired, at least. If I knew how to sew, and I kind of know how to sew, but I don't know, I can't get my sewing machine to work anymore. It's been a long time since I used it. But I've seen people where you might find like this, the 1.5 inch ribbon or a 1 inch ribbon, non-wired in like whatever you're looking for, whether it's a baseball team or soccer, and then they'll take a solid ribbon and they will attach the two, and it really comes out pretty. They just put a stitch right down on each side, and it really comes out very nice. So if you can't find a ribbon that you're looking for and you have any sort of sewing skills, it's an option for you. I've heard of people also using glue. I don't trust glue, even the best of glues. I ship a lot down south where the doors are very hot and glue can melt off. So anytime I'm doing a sign, it's going to be wired on in at least 1 or 2 spots, or stapled, however I can attach it, depending on whether it's wood or plastic. Alrighty. One last one. So 45 minutes, I am pretty much almost done with two wreaths. And that's sitting here and chatting a little bit, which slows me down just a little bit. All right, so there we have this. Isn't that fun? Now this one is going to also have a black, it's going to go on to a sign. It says, "Soccer don't go through life without goals." That's going to go in the middle of here. I actually have a sign outside. I spray painted it. I'm just waiting for it to dry, and then I will apply that. So now I don't need these. I don't put anything in these ties. I don't put any tubing. So I just take my pipe cleaner and I trim them down maybe about 1/4 of an inch above the last twist. Having a good sharp pair of these wire cutters really helps. The ones from the craft stores are not it. So I'm just going around and I'm just folding over the top of that pipe cleaner so nothing is sharp for my customer. I don't want them to get scratched or scratch their door. Okay, so I think that is all I have. This, I still have to make the sign as well as the graduation one. I have to finish the sign on that one. If you're interested in seeing the final product, you can check out my Etsy shop at craftytherapybyl.etsy.com. I have lots of bows, ribbon sets, all different kinds of wood projects, wreaths, all available for purchase. And if you subscribe to my channel, you can go back and look at my other videos on step-by-step on how to make the wreath frame with the pipe cleaners, to cutting the ribbons and applying the mesh. Hope you have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.